It's spring, but guess what? Recruiting is still happening, as well as returning Bulldogs getting some attention. Do we really have that good of linebackers coming back next? Locked on Bulldogs.
You are Locked on Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked on Bulldogs, part of Locked on Podcast Network, your team every single day. I am Clint. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time, get in the game. More on them in a moment. We appreciate you, first listeners of the morning. We appreciate you, everydayers who are here with us no matter what, as well as the loyal third segment listeners, meaning those of you who listen all the way to the end. The loyal 199, as you have come to be known. We appreciate you so much. Daniel's not here. We'll be back together later on this week. Travel as well as sicknesses, really catching up with your boys. But don't worry, we are back. Today I'm talking about three things. I'm talking about recruiting, because we got a couple names that are back on the board for us that you need to know about, offensive tackle as well as a quarterback position, in which we do have some backup plans. Jared Curtis announcement looming large. I'm going to give you my insight on that, tell you who I think is going to go to and why it's important for the Dogs, because he is the number one recruit quarterback in the cycle, as well as some backup plans if that falls through, because NIL is part of the package and Oregon is making a push. That is true. Then we're going to talk about offensive tackle. The trenches are important. I don't know if you understand how games are won. It starts in the trenches. We're going to talk about offensive tackle, a couple names to look out for there, as well as then getting to linebackers. Came out that we have a couple grades on some notable Georgia Bulldogs linebackers. And let me just tell you, if I wasn't sky high already on the linebacker, some information came back to us about a returning dog that, for all intents and purposes, could be that Channing Tindall-esque breakthrough type season. And the good news is he's already got the experience, the fortitude, the personality, and the leadership to back it up. But let's begin today as we talk about the recruiting. Right now, where we stand, Jared Curtis came out, gave a very cryptic but non-cryptic. Everybody's saying, oh, he's gonna go ahead and sign and do something and make an announcement. No, it was the announcement to say, hey, guess what? Announcement's coming later. News is news later. Jared Curtis telling us that we are about a month or so away from getting news on him, where he's going to commit. The choices are Oregon and Georgia. Now, this is really important as we talk about Jared Curtis, because I don't want it to go too far over our head. Yes, we had the Raiola news, in which we followed that all the way through. He winds up going to Nebraska. Yes, we had the Arch Manning news. We followed that all the way around. We had some people in tuxedos begging him to come play at their school until he goes over to Texas. That wasn't us, by the way, because we're not desperate like that. Going to Texas. And now we have the Jared Curtis watch. We might be thinking to ourselves, I don't want to play the Jared Curtis watch. I don't want to do this again. I've already done it with Raiola. I've already done it with Arch Manning. We're not going to get another high caliber quarterback. We're not going to get a high caliber wide receiver. Just hold on a second here. Kirby Smart, from everything that we understand and know right now, NIL is ticking upwards in this new era. Kirby Smart has made it a priority to build within the program, from training, developing, getting guys into the program that are deeply talented, developing them, and making them the best possible. That's not going to change. However, we have seen gutted roster. He said it a couple weeks ago, this was the best job that they have ever done as a coaching staff at Georgia, which I agree. Those are two national championship winning coaching staff. However, when you look at what they had to deal with this last year, this was the best coaching that this staff has ever done. You saw depth take a notable drop back, just light years back as far as depth. We didn't have the personnel that we are accustomed to, because NIL, what it is doing, it is taking the upper crust and it's leaving it at schools. It's taking the next tier and it's saying you could be upper crust at our school. You can have an opportunity to come show out, which, by the way, March Madness is dead and gone. I hope you understand that. There's no much Madness won't be back. NIL has killed that. Welcome. It's called unintended consequences. Everybody begged for it. Everybody pleaded for it. Well, we have it. And it's going to take away some of the long-standing traditions that you all love and know. And by the way, this is not an old man sitting on his porch saying, oh, NILs ruin the game. No, I'm just saying you should have regulated. You should have let players do this long ago. Wouldn't have been this mess. I digress. Jared Curtis news. You're all saying, I don't want to play this game. Can I just tell you, you need to play this game. Like you absolutely need to play this game because I don't think you understand who this kid is. A one-time Georgia commit, Mr. Football runner-up in Tennessee. He is going to be the straw that stirs the drink. And if you don't think that his connection to Mike Bobo and Mike Bobo still being on the staff and the continuity is key to his recruitment, then you're crazy. I just ask you a question. This is going to be simple. Jared Curtis is not Dylan Raiola. Jared Curtis is not Arch Manning. Those two guys came with a fanfare of family ties and a whole dramatic entrance to their schools that Jared Curtis doesn't really have. Yes, he was committed. He decommitted. We're down 2 schools. It is a notable guy, notable name, but it doesn't have the same cachet and the same shroud of paparazzi that the other two had. Raiola wants to be the second coming of somebody else. Good on you. I like to be my own person, personally. Arch Manning, for all intents and purposes, good guy, wants to be his own Manning, but who knows how that's going to be if he can actually follow that up. Jared Curtis comes around, and yeah, he's got ties and he's got understanding and he's got a lot of acclaim and a lot of eyeballs on him at camp. This cat could be the top quarterback when he not only comes in the recruiting cycle, when he goes out in the draft cycle. He could have a national championship under his belt, and he could be the first quarterback selected when he goes. That's a chance of that all happening, and that's a chance you want to take. So get in on the action. Down to Oregon, down to Georgia. And what I am understanding is that Georgia is a major player who will be able to do as they've done with other guys like Branch, as they've done with other guys like Etienne, have said, we want you to come here. We're going to go ahead and get an NIL package that's going to help you. But also, you're going to compete and we're going to develop you into the next level. And that's where you're going to get your payday. The bigger one, the greater one that's coming there. Now, I think Oregon's going to offer more NIL package. It's who they are. Knight has said, Dan Lanning, get me a championship. You have a blank check. In no uncertain terms. I think they have more NIL possibility. But I don't think that's going. I think we're going to be competitive and comparable. Because what I'm also hearing is that right now there are people moving to say, Kirby, if you want, do not let that be the case. Do not let it be that if you think a guy is worth it, which Jared Curtis is worth it, that NIL is going to stop us from landing him. If all things being equal, if the only thing that's going to nudge is that dollar, don't let that be the case. People are saying that at Georgia. People are saying that in the rooms that matter most. And I think Jared Curtis, knowing that, can just say, hey, here's what I need. Okay, Georgia, I need this amount. You check all the boxes on championship, on pedigree, on coaching, on developing. Get me to the next level. I like Mike Bobo. Let me just ask you this, Dog fans. If Mike Bobo lands Jared Curtis, is he absolved of his – has he paid his penance? Has he done his thing for a 6'4", 225 kid that looks to be Stafford 2.0 in an offense with a defense that goes along with it? Is the penance paid? Is it over? Is it done? If Mike Bobo lands it, because right now Mike Bobo being on the staff is the reason that Georgia's still in this hunt. The connection there is undeniable. NIL's coming through. I think I give us a 70% chance of landing him. That's where I stand right now. That's what I understand other people are saying. And that's what Jared Curtis is looking forward to do in 1 month. Oregon's still a major player, but I think all things being equal, we're not going to let NIL deter us from this. And we have the better categorical understanding everywhere else, like I've already listed. You should be excited. Get in on the action. This isn't Arch. This isn't Justin Fields. This is a different type of quarterback run. This isn't Raiola. Those had fanfare. This has sustenance and substance that's going to keep us going for years to come. I'm going to come back after this to let you know of a couple other names if we miss out on that. What does it look like behind him at the quarterback room, as well as possibly, hold on here, a couple of tackles that are going to help us get to where we're going, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need a lot of help in order to get there. But before that, I want to let you know about these. And these are, in fact, Monarch. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. Track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you can just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. It's got money managing tools that partner and smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first year. That's right. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. That's not everything. We also have Game Time. Imagine watching your favorite team live, feeling the energy in the crowd, and witnessing unforgettable moments. There's nothing like experiencing a big game in person. Getting tickets shouldn't be stressful. That's where Game Time comes in. So get in on the college basketball tournament by making it easier than grabbing last minute seats at unbeatable prices. Game Time picks curation makes it easier to find better value for tickets on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. And you have peace of mind because you get to view the seats before you buy. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll let you know about Jared Curtis. I let you know that I think we have a 70% chance of landing him. I think NIL is not going to be a problem. I know it's not going to be a problem. I think all things being equal, we have that. But what does happen? Jared Curtis just decides, hey, I want to go check out the Pacific Northwest. I want to bring a championship. Georgia's already got two. I want to kind of be the first in there. I want to have my name to it. And that NIL might be a little bit bigger. Let's say he goes and does that, which, by the way, okay, I get it. I understand. Dan Lanning's a heck of a coach. That's a heck of a program up there. Y'all have not been to Oregon. It is gorgeous up there. That Autzen Stadium is thumping. It's a lot of fun. Maybe he wants to go that route. If he does, good on him. Let's say we miss out on Jared Curtis. Where are we behind that? News out of every other outlet you could possibly see has that Georgia has a couple backup plans. Right now, Bo Bentley is the second option behind that. 6'2", 200 pounds. Salina, Texas has a bunch of offers from everywhere. Oklahoma, LSU, Georgia, all SEC essentially. He's an All-American roster invitee for the Navy All-American Bowl. And again, I hate when people tell me dual threat, because stop with the dual threat. You have to be mobile. In today's college football, you have to be mobile. It does seem to me that this is a little bit more twitch in the natural ability to run. 4,200 total offensive yards, 63 touchdowns as a junior. He could play a lot of different systems. He could play a lot of different pitch points. He could throw off platform. He has that little bit of wiggle in him coming out of the pocket that you don't often see for a mobile quarterback. JT Daniels was a guy who could elude pressure, get out of a bad situation and into a better situation. He was mobile. That's dual threat. Carson Beck could do the same thing and could get his legs and got a couple first downs, and it was quite impressive. You have to have that. That is a necessity in today's college football. Not a bonus, not a we could do an offensive around this guy. No. A necessity. But there's necessity, and then there's, this is talent. And Bo Bentley's got a little bit of that. 6'2", 200 pounds. He needs to add some more weight. He needs to have more of that drive through the legs, plant, and let it rip. That's no doubt. He's got good intermediate game. He's got good short game, and he's got a twitchy ability to get out of trouble and pick up yards after that. He is not the same classification as a Jared Curtis. Jared Curtis, more Stafford. Bo Bentley, I'm going to say the name. If I took you back and I made you not realize just how all-time greatest, Stetson Bennett was, because he was the all-time greatest, 4-time MVP, playoff champion, 2-time national championship winning quarterback. And you were to see his ability. Stetson had that natural raw ability just to dead leg a guy and get in the end zone with it. Okay. So I just want to let you know, if you didn't know the rest of his throwing ability, this kid has that mobility to him, has that natural charisma while tucking the ball and running, as well as an intermediate game. I don't know, the touch on the deep ball has not been, for me as I study film, that great. I think he has it. It's not a knock. It's just that comparatively, when you're in the same class as Jared Curtis, it's hard to say, well, look at this kid. Look what he's able to do. Yeah, he's able to do good stuff, but comparatively, it's a whole different ballgame. Bo Bentley is, in fact, a 4-star recruit. Likely could jump up a couple of people's own personal lists because of how he plays. If you look at the offensive who are going at him, offenses that are prolific and don't just think about the read option, the speed option, the pistol run, go ahead and get some motion and mesh concepts going. This cat can play in all of them. Seems right now that Kirby is rising up the ranks. News out of Bo Bentley's campus to say they're very excited about what Georgia brings to it. I think we're in play here. I think he understands Jared Curtis is a prize for everybody, but just like I think Puglisi knew, hey, you can go recruit everyone. I want to come play for the best. Bo Bentley might have that same mentality going into it. Name to look at, name to go watch, name to get after. All right, let's talk about a new name that popped up on the radar for a lot of people. It's not quarterback, it's trenches. And this one's interesting to me because we're a little far. We have to be careful with how we look at tackles. I think for all intents and purposes, tackle to me is actually one of the most mystifyingly ridiculous recruiting positions to deal with. And here's why. Quarterback, you get really excited about it, guys. Arm talent. Wide receiver, you get really excited about it, guys. Speed. Running back, you get all excited about a guy's physicality and twitch in the hole and one cut and go. And game tape is really, really, really fun to watch of those cats because of the skill position and get them going. Tackle's harder, and here's why tackle's harder. It is really hard to find day in, day out quality ends and tackles and defensive line who can try to go ahead and whip you. If you are just a different level of physicality at tackle, the technique is so lacking at high school level. The ability to use a whole two bag is so bad. The scheme is much more contain an edge, take up a gap, stop it from spilling over, that it's hard to say, well, this tackle is the real deal. You have to look at size. You have to look at strength. He's 6'5", 300-pound Maxwell Hiller, and he's right now number one in PA, nationally top 25 by a lot of recruiting services. Getting recruited by all the typical, if you're up in PA, you're getting Penn State, of course. You're getting Maryland, who's up and coming on a couple of recruits and snagged a couple of dudes, but you're also getting the SEC love. And Max is, look, 6'5", 300 pounds right there. You can go ahead and get a Scally to a school in any conference with that size at tackle, and you could move, and you're not just a bump on a log. But when you start looking at his tape, this is where it's interesting to me. We can get all bent out of shape because all we do is we just look and we say, hey, here's a bigger dude, defensive end, doesn't know what he's doing. But when you look at his hand placement, his hip placement, and his feet, the guy's got some going with him. Now, he's not going against the top competition. That's the bummer of it. But I really do think he is somebody that as we progress, as he keeps going, as the recruiting cycle edges on, it could be a steal if he goes ahead and sticks with the dog. Seems to be a priority in the trenches, seems to be a priority at tackle, which we need desperately, as we saw from last year. Tackles at interior offense, you can get a bunch of guys going. You can train them, you can coach them, you can scheme them up. Tackles, you need a dude sometimes who's not going to get beat one-on-one on the edge, because college, unlike high school, they get 3 tricks deep in the bag and it's hard to contain them. That's why Elijah Griffin is so special, because he's already got that coming out. We're going to come back. I'm going to let you know about a linebacker that combo wise, size, speed, and talent coming back. And he might be the third best when all is said and done. If that's the case, my gosh, we're in great, great, incredible shape. Let you know about what returning starters we have in college football, and specifically for Georgia. But first, these. And these are, in fact, Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades, Supply House. Plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, everything you do. If you're just looking at fixing up the house or you're adding addition to it, trust the easy-to-use website that's packed with helpful resources, 200,000 parts, 400 plus top brands. You'll find it exactly what you need delivered fast. Need help with an order? Don't worry. They got free Trade Master program offers, exclusive perks, dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts. Get in there right now. Join Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. All right, let's talk lastly about linebackers and people coming back for Georgia and a couple notable things that are happening within the program and catching news. Look, Pro Football Focus isn't my favorite place in the entire world. I think sometimes they over infatuate themselves with silly analytics. I love analytics, deep diving on the stuff. Dawgs Stats does a great job of it. We love it. You need to. College football is, in fact, something that needs deep analytics. But at times, I think Pro Football Focus does they weight it far differently than I would weight it. And some of their metrics are a little wonky, but they just came out with a top 10 list of returning linebackers that we're going to see next year coming back. Now, Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas coming back. Look, that dude's unreal. I'm just going to tell you, that dude's a real ball player. We were able to neutralize him with a lot of what we were able to do, but Texas did not lose because of him. He's a very, very good player, likely top 15 pick when he goes, likely top 10. He's what you want. He's what you have. You keep going down the list. Whit Weeks, by the way, LSU. I saw that bowl game. I'll tell you what, Whit Weeks has all my fandom since we don't play LSU and we won't see him in the playoff because, well, it's Brian Kelly. But Whit Weeks, he might be the second best linebacker. It might be Anthony Hill and Whit Weeks 1 and 2 for best linebackers in the entire nation. Those two cats are incredible. Keep going down the list. You run into some other notable names. Hey, Lawson, Alabama. Yeah, he's good. He's quite good. Then at number 8, returning, Pro Football Focus gives us CJ Allen. Now, this is wild to me. Okay, CJ Allen, a couple of notable things of why he's coming back and why they rate him as 8th. If you look at this linebacker class coming back, it is a very talented group. If you are an NFL team and need a linebacker next year, guess what? You are happy. You're thrilled. You're beyond the moon stoked because you got a lot of names to choose from. CJ Allen comes in at 8, and we've given this inside linebacker group an A+ as far as Daniel and I go on this podcast for how talented they are. CJ Allen is a major contributor. Why? But actually, Justin Williams, hello, that's a name you need to know right now because he's a real deal. And I actually think by the end of the year, he might be the best linebacker that we have on the team. Yeah, I said it. I know we got 2 guys coming back that have loads of experience and loads of explosiveness. Justin Williams might be better than those 2. Now, CJ Allen, he's in the 98th percentile in athleticism score. It takes across his game speed. So you look on tape, you're able to clock it, you're able to see where he goes sideline to sideline. But also 94th percentile, 7.1 missed tackle rate. Now, look, Pro Football Focus, we were soft last year up the middle. CJ Allen, I thought 7% missed tackle. It seemed to me to be higher than that. I don't have every single stat, and I don't know what they mean by missed tackle. I wish people were able to define what they're talking about. I think CJ is physically gifted. His leadership ability and his ability to get the defensive set is largely why I'm so excited him coming back. But you got a cat who is 6'1", 225, 230. who can run very fast, not as fast as Justin Williams, not as fast as other inside linebackers. But I mentioned the name Channing Tindall at the beginning of the podcast. He exploded onto the scene. He was always a good player. He was always talented. He was always fast. He was always physical, and he was pretty smart. It just so happened that we had very, very good talent elsewhere. CJ Allen plays immediately coming to Georgia because he was thrust into it, had to, which we were very pleased with. We're very happy with his performance. His floor is really, really high. He's not going to fall down to a standard of subpar. He's very gifted, very talented, very good. And if he comes in at 8, and we have 2 other guys on this roster that actually athletically, I think CJ, he's a gifted athlete, but that's compared to the rest of college football. Compared to the guys in Georgia's own room, his hips, look, Shakira was right. Hips don't lie. And Justin Williams has them hips. That's able to get downhill in a hurry. They're able to go changing gaps, can change direction, get after the quarterback, blitz, scheme, blitz, run. He has it. I think CJ deserves the credit. I know he does. I'm excited to have him back. But man, if his floor is what the rest of the linebackers, if he does in fact keep that level of play we saw last year, and other 2 are able to accentuate him, if he's not the best inside linebacker on this team, we have an elite defense that has been missing the last couple years. Okay. The times are changing, and that's for the better, because I think we have a renaissance back, led by guys like CJ, led by guys like KJ Bolden, led by Kristen Miller, who, look out. We have guys on this team who are coming back. Yes, they have seniority. Yes, they have experience, but it's the younger guys that get me excited. CJ Allen is level 8 nationally, inside linebacker. Man, y'all, he comes through on that. Pro Football Focus has some weird metrics, but if he comes through on that, then you and I can be just sitting back cackling like a whole bunch of hens in a hen's house, because our defense is going to be scary. Them Dogs is going to be hell when all that comes to pass next year, if CJ is playing that high of a level. Daniel, I'll be back later on this week talking about the Bulldogs. Every single news, every single note that you need to know. Don't watch the Braves. They're awful. And we can't watch the basketball anymore because it's over as well, and everybody's gutted, and NIL has taken every single good player we had. Look, it's fine. We're having a great time. It's fine. This fall better bring us some good news. We'll see y'all next time. Daniel, I'll be back. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll see y'all next time.